Hello, world. I want to tell the story of my transgender child. I am going to tell the story now because my child is suffering and I need for my child to know that it's okay, that I'm okay with his lifestyle. My child was about 3 or 4 when I noticed that he was different. And when I say different, I noticed that he didn't like playing with boy toys. He didn't like anything that had to do with being a boy, to be honest. He didn't like playing football. He hated it. He didn't like going outside with boys. He hated that. He would always have all these little girlfriends and he would play with dolls and I would beat him. I would beat him. And it'd be like, as a mom, boys don't play with girl toys. You play with cars. And I would see the cars in front of him. You play with cars. And he would look at me and he would cry. I would take him to the store and say, pick out a toy, any toy you want. And he'd run right to Barbie. And I would beat him again. This is what I would do first and foremost because of the religion. It says that you don't deal with gay people. It's forbidden. It's not appealing to God. It's not normal. It's not a normalcy. It's all what it was not. So I dealt with that. And I hated my kid. Oh God, forgive me. I hated my kid. I hated him for being different. I hated him for wearing lip gloss. I hated him for wearing eyeliner. I just hated him. And I said it out loud for the first time right now. And at about 16, he started doing stuff. He started, I would go to work. I would come home. People would tell me that people was in my house, that he had people over here doing this. He would have all kinds of people. He was just doing things. He was getting in trouble in school. He was just doing, and I think the whole time he was just screaming out saying, Mom, look at me. Look at me. And I wouldn't look at him. I had stopped looking at him when I realized he was different. I stopped paying attention to him because I didn't want to pay attention anymore. I hated who he was. And I had my other son growing up, and I wanted my other son to be normal. So I had that son that wanted to play football and wanted to do this. So I drowned myself into that son, and I took my hands off of the one that needed me the most, the one that had no one. Because when everybody realized that he was different, nobody wanted to deal with him. My family talked about it all the time to me and made me feel bad all the time. And I felt bad all the time. I had no peace in myself because I was feeling, as a mom, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? How did I make him that way? Did I do something while I was pregnant? Did I say something? Was it the abuse I was going through? What was it that made him shift and not be a girl? Or did I want a girl so bad that I put it in my head and he came out that way? It was all these things. And then every time my son would be sitting down on the counter as I'm getting dressed for work, he would just look at me in awe. And I would look at him and go, stop looking at me when I'm getting dressed. Play with your toys. Why are you watching me? And he would just watch, almost like he was amazed by me and the beauty, I don't know. Or he was infatuated of me in some type of way. Or this is what a woman looks like. And when I show you my son, you will see that he looks almost identical to me because I think he molds himself of the image of a woman like his mother. And I'm going to tell his story because he can't. The world has beaten him down, and I mean beaten him down to the point where he or she, let me say she because that's how I address her. She doesn't come outside. She doesn't know how. She has social anxiety. She's depressed and she has anxiety so bad that when she gets around people, she gets dysfunctional. There's counselors working with her now because she's extremely damaged from the trauma that she was going through when I put her out at 16 and she was homeless. And I, at the time, didn't care where she went because I told her she could die for all I care. Because if she wasn't normal, she couldn't be in my life because I didn't accept it.